Hi, everyone. My name is Philip Solomon, and on behalf of Cartoon Network Studios, welcome to our Craig of the Creek production panel. Being the voice of Craig has been nothing short of a blessing. I've been lucky to be a part of the Williams family, which entertains other families like yours every week. And not only do I have a cool family on screen, I've got one off screen too. I feel incredibly blessed to be a part of this big Craig the Creek production family made up of some of the most talented artists, writers, and producers. And today, we're joined by a few of these awesome people for a fun discussion covering their professional journey and time in the Creek. So, without further ado, let's introduce my talented friends. So, first, we've got Chanel Gibbs, an amazing staff writer currently working on Jessica's Big Little World. Hi, Chanel. And next, we have her sister, Shawnee Gibbs, our staff writer, also working with her sister, Chanel, to bring Jessica's Big Little World to life. Hi, Shawnee. Good morning. And
Hello.
hello. And next, we've got the Deshaun Mahone, writer of many of your favorite Craig the Creek episodes and writer of many of my favorite episodes, and supervising director on Jessica's Big Little World. Good morning, Deshaun.
Hey, good morning.
And last but not least, we've got the amazing Ashley Hairston, our wonderful story editor currently working on Jessica's Big Little World. Ashley is currently not here yet, so we are waiting for her, but we will bring her in soon. But first, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. I wanted to start with a question for the whole panel. How long have you been a part of the Craigverse, and how did you get involved, and what drew you to working on the show? Anybody want to start?
I
Dang.
could, I could start.
Awesome.
I've been here since the beginning. Like
Yeah.
part of the OG team, I guess. I remember being in the office when it was like just me and my board team, and then another board team. I think it was just four of us. Like I remember the studio or that side of the studio was empty. But yeah, I've been here since the beginning. And then moved over to Jessica. So yeah, I've been here for the long haul.
We're grateful. Anybody else want to add to that? Chanel, Shanae?
Oh yeah. We flipped a coin about who was gonna talk first and Shanae won. So I had tails, she had hands. I'm the winner. Well, we gotta first of all thank Dave for helping to set such a beautiful show and room and tone for us
Yes.
to join Jessica's Big Little World. We joined last year. And we were actually working on a preschool show called Little Ellen for Warner Brothers Animation. And hey, Ashley!
Ashley,
Hi. I
we're gonna
didn't
fill
get
you
a
in right
notice
after
that
this.
we were
Yeah, we're in
We're
here. We're
on.
live.
Oh, we did. I was in the waiting room. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I was there too. Um,
Okay.
Welcome, Ashley. We
Welcome.
Hi,
so
Eddie.
we're just talking about our starts and how we got involved on Jessica's Big Little World. But yeah, so we were working on a show called Little Ellen for Warner Brothers, and an executive over at Warner Brothers recommended us for a show. We didn't know what it was. We just knew that it was for Cartoon Network, and so they told us, told them about us, and once we found out it was Jessica's Big Little World, I mean, first of all, we love Craig of the Creek, and then we were like, "Oh my God!" Like we're keeping our fingers crossed. Then we met the team. We met Tiffany, Ashley, Ben, Matt. It felt like such a family in our first meeting. And then we met Day and everybody, and it's just been an amazing room to work in, and it's just really, really been really cool. And we've been really enjoying the journey so far. Chanel, you want to add anything? No, I want to say hi, Ashley.
My
How are you,
twins.
Ashley?
I
Wait,
miss
let me
you
introduce
all.
you. Let me introduce you.
Oh,
Last but
okay.
not least, we've got the amazing Ashley Hairston, our wonderful
Hi.
story editor, currently working on Jessica's Big Little World. Ashley, I just wanted to ask you, how did you get started with the show? I know you started at first as a voice actress, but I'll let you
Yes.
explain.
Yeah, so I started as a voice actress on Craig of the Creek. I played the character Ren, and which is such a fun character to play.
Yes.
She's my favorite girl. But yeah, I think just by coming in and recording, I became friends with, Matt and Ben and the crew and Jeff Trammell, who, was in he would be in the booth whenever I would come in to record, and we just chat and hang
Right.
out and stuff. So we became friends on Facebook. And one day I was just tired of auditioning and looking for work, and because auditioning doesn't pay. So I was like, I need to write. I've been, writing and developing my own characters and like, taking classes, writing classes. And so I said, I think I'm ready. So I posted on Facebook that I was looking for writing jobs. Little did I know that Jeff Trammell saw that post and secretly brought me in to the room for a freelance writing opportunity. I got an email that they were, I got just a random email, and they were like, hey, we heard you're looking for writing jobs. And I was like, oh my gosh, sure. So I came in for a freelance writing job like end of 2019. And then I just kept coming back. And then early January 2020, they were like, would you be interested in writing full time? So I was like, of course I would. Love the show, love all the characters. And that's how I started writing on Craig of the Creek.
And you're doing an amazing job. And I kind of wanted to talk
Thanks.
to all of you all about the dynamic of the show. I was watching the last panel and they were talking about like the authenticity and where that needs to be, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I wanted to kind of ask you guys about that. What's the dynamic like behind the scenes at the Creek? Is it really a family vibe? Where does that spirit come from? Because I know I feel it in the booth, but what about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a kind of family vibe. I mean, a lot of our story breaking and everything, it's like discussions, maybe somebody comes with an idea and then we all just kind of talk about it. It doesn't really have the setup of like, oh, okay, so this is what you're gonna do and you're gonna do, and then it ends. We just kind of talk about our personal experiences, if it relates to the story, and different topics. Someone might throw jokes here and there, and by the end of the sometimes it might kind of trail off, and then we've been like, oh, we don't realize what we've been thought about. Okay, let's try and bring this back in, and then after that, yeah, we usually have these stories that we can bounce off of. I don't know, I've always felt like everybody is so supportive and kind and wants to make a really great like uh product for everyone to enjoy, and I think it just shows in the work and in the room as
Exactly.
well. Yeah.
Agreed. Anybody else want to add to that? I thought that was amazing.
I will say that soon as Shanae and Chanel came in when they were interviewing, we immediately fell in love with them. They had so many stories of just their childhood growing up as twins that we were like, oh my God, that's funny. Oh my God, that's hilarious. They had stories like songs they used to make up and like games that they used to play and make up. And we were like we lost track of time just talking. And that's how the writers room typically would go. It's just like, we're talking about
Yeah.
just everything. And it's so fun and like just family friendly vibes like all the time. It's great.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just feels so safe in this room, and I just think it's so wonderful. I was gonna say also that we're just normally just laughing, talking about our childhoods, our experiences. Tiffany creates such a safe space, and sometimes I was, as we were going on, I'd be like, "Day, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine like what he was going through." As we're just like, having these great moments, in the room. But yeah, it feels really safe. That's what I want to say about the room. And I just feel like Shanae and I just came in as like cousins of the Creek.
Yeah,
cousin from Oakland.
Yep.
From the first day, I mean, just our first meeting, it just felt like, like we rode up on our bikes, we jumped off and we just started playing, like with our play cousins. And I mean, it really just, it feels like that. And we were just saying, just from just the tone that's created from the top down is just beautiful.
Right.
Even from like new storyboard artists who are getting some of their first shots. We were just talking about this the other day. It's like it's not, the room is designed for you not to fail, and you're supported at every step along the way and it's like, with love that you're guided, with experience, with like amazing expertise. it's just a really cool space, and it just gives creative people, creative kids from like all over, a space to shine, and in a supportive way. So I mean, it's really been beautiful. Yeah, literally
Right.
yesterday, one of the board artists was saying, I feel like I needed this before they got here. I feel like I needed a place like this, and it's here, and I'm just so happy to
Yeah.
be a part of it.
I could say the exact same thing. I mean, Ashley, you could testify to this, like being in the booth. Even being in the booth is such a safe
Yeah.
and fun environment to play. It feels like a sandbox, like we're able to riff off different lines and explore improv scenes and really play with our characters. And it's a testament to how important environment is for a show, and you could see it in the work. Like Deshaun was saying, we have some of the most
Hmm.
authentic episodes that really resonate with, and that's why the show is becoming what it is, and it's becoming inspiring for young kids like I was, and I also wanted to ask you guys a little bit more about
Hmm.
Jessica's Big Little World. So Shay and Chanel, we know that Jessica's Big Little World will be a show for preschoolers, right? Talk about the adjustments you had to make writing on a show for preschoolers versus a traditional family-oriented show or kids show like Craig of the Creek. How do you ensure that Jessica still has the Craig of the Creek spirit?
Yeah, I think because Jessica comes from an established show, which
Mhm.
is like a 6 to 11 age demographic, you know what I mean? And everybody like knows that like a big adventure show.
Right.
It's been fun to take a character that is known in that space and translate her into preschool. And because naturally she's already, she's her goal is to be a big kid. She's got big aspirations. She got big things she's trying to do. So just
Hmm.
by the nature of that, I mean, it gives us so much, just a wealth of stories to play with, and to make her still feel like the Jessica that everybody already knows from the Craig of the Creek, universe. Just translating her into to preschool. Yeah, and sometimes people think, oh, it's just easy to write for preschool, and it's a really specific language, and you want to make sure with a show like this that we're speaking to preschoolers as well as to the family. We want the whole family to sit down and watch, mom, dad, grandparents, cousins, older kids. So it's a nice little balance of creating language that speaks to everyone, including young ones who are just learning, language skills.
Right. And I've had such a fun time recording on that show too. Ashley, see me my 30 minutes every other week. But being on that show is so amazing. And young Lucia is such a star, and I'm so glad that she gets her own platform to shine. Like from the moment I met her, I knew like, oh my God, she needs her own show. And I'm so glad that she gets to inspire other young girls like her, like Craig is inspiring other boys like him. And showrunner Tiffany Ford, like talking about the development of careers behind the scenes in the Creek family. She was a writer on Craig the Creek, and now she's a showrunner on Jessica's Big Little World. And she's rising through the ranks as storyboard artist and now supervising director. And I'm just so proud of everyone. Jeff Trammell going on to do big things for Marvel. Ashley, I wanted to ask you. You're doing some great things with Nickelodeon.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you more about that. Have you brought any lessons or practice from your time in the Creek to your new show over there?
Absolutely. I think you all are like really speaking to that already. Just like the fact that Matt and Ben and Tiffany, like they are allowing such an opportunity for growth for, the crew and for the characters, just expanding the world. And yeah, speaking to Lucia, like, giving her a show. Now Jessica has a show, and we get to expand all of those characters and have representation,
Yeah.
in her world, and see her friendships, expand, and what that means for representation on screen. I think it's incredible. But also just speaking in terms of like the crew, I came into the pandemic as a first time staff writer. Like that was my first time in a room as a staff writer. And now I'm coming out of pandemic, a showrunner at Nickelodeon, which is insane. But I really am so grateful to Matt and Ben and Tiffany and Jeff for just, and like all of our producers for, just investing in us, and, giving us those opportunities to grow. So just by starting as a, staff writer and then going to story editor on Jessica, and then even they gave me, my first voice directing opportunity. Like that is huge, and I'm forever grateful for that. So I definitely want to take that with me, to my show. Whatever, that's crazy. But yeah, I definitely want to take that with me. I think that's so important. Just, investing in my crew and investing in my characters. I also, yeah, it's just such a collaborative environment, and I want to keep that family dynamic and just allowing everyone's stories to be able to, to feel safe and welcome, as Shanae was saying earlier, to, be able to share that in our room so that we can put that into our stories and our characters, I think is also like what makes the show authentic and unique and special, and what makes it sort of resonate with viewers. So yeah, those are some important.
Yes. And congratulations. We know you're gonna shine. You're gonna do so amazing. Yes.
I tried.
No, we know you'll do it. You'll be great.
Ashley always shines.
Yes.
Yes.
One of the best things like about this show is like it reminds us like often that the Creek is a place for all kids, right? Like why would you guys say diversity in race, gender expression, and sexual orientation is so important to showcase in children's shows? And how do you convey those ideas to a young audience? Some might say they're sensitive topics or whatnot. How do you guys respond to that?
It's just important to feel seen and to feel like your story matters. And I think a lot of us grew up without seeing this, what we're able to create today. So it's so important. It's so important to people's development as human beings. You know what I mean? And just to know that that you matter. And so I think stories like this and what Cartoon Network is doing is just essential, for kids coming up to be able to see themselves, hear voices that reflect their experiences.
Yeah. I want to hop off of that too and just say that it helps to have a very diverse crew, so that you have the people in the crew to ask these questions, bring up these things, oh, it'd be nice to see something like this, or they're living that experience, and they want to share it. It comes like the authenticity comes out. And I mean, I think that that's a really important thing that a lot of productions and studios could do, is like, if you want to have those authentic stories, to have those people present. I think it comes out in the stories just naturally. Just you know we want to bring it up because it's real life. It's there. It's better to bring it up than to ignore it. So yeah, I think that it comes through. Comes through.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I want to add too. I think we just saw, like, with this last batch of episodes that came out for Craig of the Creek, for like Fire and Ice and Grandma Smugglers and Sink or Swim Team. Like, those were episodes that were, very personal to a lot of our crew, and like we spent hours, just everyone collaborating and putting in their thoughts and experiences, and we took those and like turned them into episodes. And like, even for like Sink or Swim Team, like we were looking specifically for an actress who spoke Bisaya, and I think the response that we got back from that, was like just so grand, that people were like, I've never seen, Filipina, character who spoke Bisaya, on screen before in cartoons. And so like just getting the response back from, the audience is always nice. And it's a good reminder that, representation matters.
Totally agree. I wanted to quickly, I know we don't have much time left, but I wanted to turn some questions to the audience. We have a couple questions. Let's see. Aubrey Scott asks, how do you find a balance when depicting imaginary things happening versus real things on the show? Anybody want to take that?
Oh, I could take that. We kind of had, at least early on, like a science of how to do it. It was just like, let's try and keep the imaginary things to or the super wacky imaginary things to like the final act of the story, generally. But then, I think the best kind of story or the best moments came from like depicting it through the child's imagination. Like
Right.
we're in the kid's point of view. So, what are they seeing? So we have these moments where yeah, like a character, they're seeing something that isn't actually there. But when you're a kid, and even when you're an adult, you might have like these like visual like imaginary spots. We're just like pushing that and making it funny for the sake of jokes. But yeah, like now we don't have it as an exact science. It's just kind of like what would be silly in this moment. But as long as it's through the kid's point of view, it still feels real.
I wanted to add on to just like being
Yeah.
in the room with Day and Matt and Tiffany, um, and Ben. It's like when you're coming from a script-based show as opposed to a board-based show, like Craig of the Creek and Jessica, they both are. Um, it's so enlightening to be in the room with artists, and talking through the visual aspect of the show, because Shanae and I have come from shows where we were just strictly writing scripts, and then it's really separate, like writers over here, artists over here, hand it off. Nobody really sees each other until one time you guys watch the animatic together, But this way of like working, it really has like brought a whole new visual sense to the way that Shanae and I write, and we're just so appreciative, of this experience, and it's really cool. And they just like just the way that he visually will take something and just make it, you know what I mean, hilarious, and it's just really cool, and it inspires our writing.
Thank you. And y'all be like having some really great suggestions. Like we jumping off of that's what I was saying. Like the room is really nice to be able to bounce off each other. And I
Yeah.
wanted to say that too, that it is nice to my previous job before Craig, the writers and the artists didn't work in tandem like that. So yeah, working on Craig and then on Jessica, it's just really awesome to have like that collaborative stuff. Cause I mean, then you're both on the same page, like you're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. And you inspire each other.
I'd like to add on to that too, because like being in the booth, it's usually in other animation jobs that I've done, you really don't see your castmates ever. But from the beginning, we've always been in the same rooms together. Well, not now because of COVID, but we've always been recording together, whether it be via Zoom or in person, and it really feels like that family environment. We feel free to play with the lines in the story, and it's created that environment that feels so authentic and that we touched on earlier. I
Yeah.
had a specific, I had one quick specific question for Shanae and Chanel. Let's see. Cheyenne Smith asks, can Chanel and Shanae provide any advice for aspiring writers?
I would recommend, particularly for animation, to
Mhm.
get your hands on as much as many animated scripts and storyboards that you can find, to just see how how things are crafted, and also for those who are currently writing, to just write spec scripts, which are like a version, your own version of a show, which shows people what you can do in terms of writing. And particularly for animation, people are always looking for writing samples. So having a writing sample is the best way to just stay ready for when an opportunity comes along and people can read you and they'll be like, oh, that person's funny, or or they just know that you're ready for hiring. Chanel, Ashley, do you? Yeah, I did want to say, speaking of funny, I wanted to say Ashley. I just want to say Ashley, just because, and I know you have like improv experience, right? Like, so I feel like
Yes.
that really helps inform the room. I took like one half of a class of improv or whatever, but I just feel like that's really important. And I know
Yeah.
Ashley does a lot of that. And I think you're so funny. And
Oh,
yeah.
Chanel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to
You're funny.
big you up. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love you so much. You make me laugh nonstop all the time. It's a love fest. But I would agree for sure. Like, take as many, uh, classes and performance opportunities is necessary, because that's going to shape your your creative instinct. Improv is so helpful in all aspects of this business. I mean, just from like hopping on a call, late and being like, what do I do? Help.
Yeah.
Gotta fix that real quick. Improv can help with that, but it can also help you with your writing as well. It's just great. It's a great tool to have. So perform, get out there, meet people, engage. Don't sit at the computer and just like, sometimes you can get stuck, at the computer and just trapped in like rethinking and reading and just getting caught in your own words, but get out. Have other people read your scripts, get involved with, writing groups so you can share and get feedback and feed off of each other. It's really, just, get out there, have fun, engage.
Oh,
writing is yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, actually I was gonna say one, and I would say for artists too, improv would be great, because what nobody tells you, particularly for board shows, is that you're gonna be acting, you're gonna be pitching, you're gonna be talking. So you're not only just gonna be sitting there,
pitching.
and
you're gonna
drawing
be
like
pitching.
beautiful drawings. Somebody's now gonna expect you to be like making that come to life for the pitches. So improv for everybody, artists, writers, whoever you want to be, producers, just getting out and speaking, just like what Ashley was saying. Sorry, Ashley, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say that to artists too. Yeah, because sometimes people don't know that part.
Yeah, all my I didn't take any legit, I mean a few improv classes, but I came in kind of knowing, because just my family growing up, everybody had jokes, they're just throwing them out, and you just had to be quick on your feet, or you were just gonna be in the corner snapping. So it's like, if you haven't had that experience growing up, then yeah, maybe take some improv classes so that you're ready to throw something out in an instant. But yeah, definitely, it just need like life experience too. I see a lot of younger people, really trying to get in. It's just like, absolutely try and get in when you can, but don't forget to, there's lots of things that you can learn just living, just yeah. So everything could be a learning experience.
That's awesome. Wow, this time has flown so fast. I got one more question, and it's pointed towards me. Someone asked in the chat. They asked, how important is it to me to be voicing a young Black boy for preschool audiences and parents? It's an honor. It's truly an honor that I thank Ben, Matt, and all of you all the time for it. Being able to somewhat be an inspiration for other young boys like me has just been like the blessing of my life. And I talk about it a lot. I go to UCLA, and I have this club where we talk about things like this, representation and animation. And I wouldn't have had that open knowledge on things like this if it wasn't for this show. I wouldn't know about how rare it is to see a Black family in animation, how inclusive this show is, and how rare it is for a show to be inclusive. I'm just so grateful. I know I'm riffing on it, but I'm just so grateful for this time. I'm so grateful to be moderating this panel. I love you all. You guys have been great. And I just wanted to say thank you all for watching this panel. Be sure to look out for everything that's coming soon in the Craigverse. We've got the movie, we've got Jessica's Big Little World, we've got a couple more exciting new things coming. Just stay tuned, and yeah, have a good one, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Nice seeing you all. Bye.